guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. It feels like forever since I've done a video, but it's only been four days, and that's because obviously I did the L Word Advent calendar through December 1st through 26th actually, because I did a live on the Boxing Day. And I just wanted to say again, huge thank you to every single person who watched any of the videos, all of the videos. I know I got quite a good boost in subscribers, so if you're a new subscriber as well, welcome, and just thank you for all your loyalty and staying with me through December. Now we're going through a bit of a quiet phase right now because the cast and crew are still on break for the Christmas period, and they did only go back to filming on the 30th of November. I try and stay on top of everything coming out of LA because obviously anything that's enacted in LA affects the filming, and there is a big call at the moment for people to stop production, and there is a huge amount of shows and films in production at the moment, all being done in a very safe way, and the testing and all these things. So I think that the L Word will continue as long as everything else is continuing, and just need to keep an eye on it. But is it something that could happen? Of course it could. So I'll keep you guys informed of anything that I hear. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, I'm going to do kind of a New Year's resolution for the L Word and myself, and some of the things that I think are going to happen, including when I actually think the show will be back on the air, and that will come out tomorrow, my usual time, and you'll have that to see before we hit 2021 and say goodbye to 2020. Also in that video I'll talk a bit more about what I'm going to do when I hit 5,000 subscribers and 10,000 subscribers, but just at the moment, keep you all up to date. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like the video and comment if you enjoy it. It really helps out the channel. And at the moment I'm giving away a piece of merch that I do on my channel. So Sonia was the winner of the L Word goodie bag that's heading her way right now. And if you would like to order one of those shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, etc., there's loads of stuff for yourself, the link is in the description box down below, and that will take you right to the store. You can pick your color and size and everything like that. So let me know if you want to be in the draw for one of those shirts, and also if you help get my subscriber count up to 5,000 and 10,000, I will reveal what I'll be doing for that in my video tomorrow. So now we've got our little roundup out of the way, let's get right into what we're all here for today. Season 5, Episode 7, Lesbians Gone Wild. So we're continuing our great cold opens from season 5, where it's always something to do with the set of like girls, and this one is where Jenny, Tina, Nikki, etc., like the cast and crew, are behind the scenes and preparing EPK, the electronic press kit, which they say they're going to be using it for DVD extras. I mean, this is 2008, it's the height of DVDs. That's why I would love getting deleted scenes and behind the scenes on shows that I was really into, like the L Word, but they don't really do too much of that anymore, and it's actually hard to get DVDs. I mean, Generation Q season 1 just came out, and I gave away that once on my channel, but I was talking to people who they couldn't get it in the format in their country, and in the end, whenever I was giving away, someone preferred getting a shirt. So I even people don't have DVD players anymore. I know my sister doesn't, because I bought my nephews a movie and they couldn't watch it because she doesn't have a DVD player. So it's not what they once were, but they do still exist, and I mean, they do have a purpose. Like, if we have a big screen that there's like a projector and it has a DVD player, and it's, I mean, it's attached to like cable and satellite, but it's nice to watch, you know, older movies or TV shows and things like that that either aren't displayed on satellite and cable or only on, you know, streaming platform or something that you don't have. So I still do have a few DVDs of things I really like. Jenny throughout this episode is just kind of continuing this ill-advised affair with Nikki, and we do get Jenny and Nikki oil wrestling, which I've talked about this a little bit before on my channel, but the actress who plays Dusty and who also played Dana's trainer in the earlier seasons, she's actually Eileen Chaikin's personal trainer, and she had a lot to do with like the real life Turkish oil wrestling this is based on. And I remember when this came out, it was like a big thing. Like I remember at Dinosaur, and I think when one of the first times I went to Pulse, they might have had this, but there was definitely like a theme of, after it was on the L Word, it was definitely this thing of, it was more POC queer people in California were doing it and not the rest of the country. And then, you know, they did it with white people on the L Word. And then after it was shown on the L Word, I remember it going into a lot of places that I would go, like a lot of gay clubs and things like that. I never really remember it becoming like a monthly thing. I think once they did one, it was like, oh my god, what a mess. What is going on? So I do remember at least seeing a few and lots of advertisements, but I don't ever remember it really catching on anywhere that I was around anyway. And I remember, I think at Dinosaur, there was one, and they used to get like, you know, like the way they have it in She Bar, it's obviously really cool and like a boxing ring, but most places that I ever went, it was like an inflatable kids pool. And then they also had the Jello version too, where it was like girls wrestling in Jello, and I think that's in a Park and Recreation episode too. But yes, this was a very strange thing that was done for a while, but personally I never did it myself. I was only ever an observer. We get to see quite a lot of Kit in this episode because, as we know, the planet has been temporarily closed because of the rat puppies that Dawn Denbo set loose in the last episode, and Kit is just like tagging along with Bette, Molly, and Shane's on the set too because she has a lot of free time. Shane in this episode, we see the very, very kind of beginning of the whole Shane and Molly thing, and Shane is on set doing everyone's hair. In the scene where Molly, Bette, and Kit are like leaving the trailer and Shane's in there with Begonia and doing her hair, she has an Her shirt on, which is Lisa Haley's band. I've seen them a bunch of times. They're really cool. So I love things like that where they wear, you know, there's other bands of Leisha's that people have worn shirts before, and the Free City stuff, and I know there's a couple of characters that wear the Girl Trash shirts, which is Angela Robinson related, so it's always cool to see something like that. I also love when Bette's leaving the trailer and she gives Shane that look like, I know exactly what you're doing, and if you do it, I'm going to kill you, because of Molly being Phyllis's daughter. But Molly is the #1 fan of the Turkish oil wrestling, and Shane kind of takes a weird position on it and doesn't seem to like it that much, but Molly is very much into it and kind of relaxes her guard around Shane, and they start having a drink and stuff, and Molly, you know, is telling Shane, I'm the straightest person alive, and you can see Shane kind of being like, sure you are, okay. And for now, it's just a little bit of innocent flirtation, but I always really liked the Molly character. I thought that she was cool, and I really liked, you know, that Sybil Shepherd was her actual daughter and things, so it's definitely going to get interesting with Shane and Molly. Max is not in this episode, so he gets a bit of a break for this week, but as usual, I'm going to plug Netflix Disclosure, so everybody should go and see it. It talks a lot about the Max character, why it was so problematic, and also Jamie Clayton, who plays Tess in Generation Q, and Leo Shag, who plays Micah in Generation Q, are in it also, along with a host of other awesome people. One of the best in the documentary, personally, I think, is Jen Richards. She's a writer and she's an actress too. She's been in like a good couple of things, and I don't know, she just blew me away in it. I thought she was awesome, and the points she raises and talks about, so look out for her in particular. So this episode is kind of one of those fillery episodes. I mean, it's never quite filler with the L Word or Showtime or HBO shows in general, because you only get so few episodes, so there's always something going on. But this is definitely a very like typical mid-season one, where we've had the first 6 episodes where all this like a lot has happened, and the whole thing with Tasha and Alice, Bette and Tina are, you know, hot and heavy, and the Late Girls thing is tumbling out. There's lots going on, but this episode kind of tidies everything up and then sets everybody off on the course that they need to be for the final half of the season. So we have Tasha's, you know, person that's coming to prosecute her case, Colonel Davis, arrive. He's played by Kelly McGinnis, who is from Top Gun, most people know her from. When she came on the show, she wasn't out yet. I've talked about this before. And then when the episode aired, she did come out. If you notice in this episode, Tina gives the classic L Word line that Gretchen Pickles is the only gay cast member. Now, insert Leisha Haley there, and that was the L Word line for the entire run of the show. That was the answer you got if you asked if someone was gay or bi or straight or whatever. Leisha Haley is the only gay cast member. But if we take this episode, for example, we can see, in fact, just what a line it was, because this all came about, I've talked about this before, that Jennifer Beals accidentally outed Kate Manning in an interview to The Advocate once, and this was when they started people pushed back and said, hang on a second, has Jennifer Beals just outed her? And that's when they were really pushing this Leisha Haley is the only gay cast member line. And in this episode alone, I mean, we have Leisha, Kate, Kelly McGillis, Elizabeth Keener, who's Dawn Denbo, she came out after as well. And, you know, just a few episodes before, we had Holland Taylor. There's a lot. Again, 2008 was a completely different time. And with Alice on the look, I mean, that is funny now too, because it's all set up in the way that the person that they're talking about in the look, the people having the argument, and one person left, is based on Rosie O'Donnell, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, and The View. And when Rosie and Elizabeth had this like big huge fight and Rosie ended up leaving, and I used to watch The View when Rosie was on it, I really liked her, and I never really watched it that much afterwards because it was super boring afterwards. And Elizabeth Hasselbeck, But as we know, Rosie is coming to the show now, and it's definitely going to be interesting. But what they ask Alice to do on The Look is to basically out people every single episode. And that probably wouldn't have been that hard in 2008, because there was a lot of people that were open secrets or in the closet. So, but of course, it's completely morally wrong, and I've mentioned this before, that the only time that it's ever, I don't want to say okay, but justifiably okay to out someone is if they're actively out there harming the LGBTQ community. So, like the situation with Daryl Brewer, obviously, it's a complicated situation. I could sit here and start a channel and out people, but that is, 1, not my style, 2, completely wrong, and 3, you would probably start getting cease and desist letters and sued. But there's a lot of people still that are, it's completely open secrets that people know, just part of that industry, and you just have to keep it to yourself. Or, you know, when you're in these situations, it's fine to talk about with other people that also know, but you can't just sit there and out people. So what they're asking Alice to do, is it possible? Yes. But should she? Absolutely not. So we see Alice kind of fighting with herself, and in the end she obviously outs Nikki in a weird way, and the agents, managers, they all hit the roof. Tina has to ban her from set, and yeah, Alice, everybody's a little bit mad at Alice. And then things get even worse for Alice, in that she has to go to the military base and talk to Colonel Davis, who basically says to her, Tasha was fine living in the closet until she met you, and you're so out and talking, and like Alice is living her authentic life. Like, she isn't in the military, she doesn't have to, you know, do any of the things that Tasha has to do. Obviously very difficult for them because of Chapter 15 and Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So again, just super glad that that has been done away with, because what a waste of time, effort, money. Like, look at all this stuff that's going into Tasha being investigated, and how that could have been reappropriated somewhere else. And I've spoken before about people being discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and how there was a shortage of people who spoke Arabic because so many people who did speak Arabic were discharged under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I'll talk more about that next episode, obviously, when we get the trial. But yeah, Alice and Tasha both having some really tough times at the moment. And on to my favourites, Bette and Tina. Oh, everyone's having a bad time at the moment. So Tina, you know, she's still killing it on set. She's putting out fires everywhere. And Bette comes to visit her on set with Molly. Just like taking Molly like a field trip or something. And Bette and Tina obviously go into, it looks like Pottery Barn Teen from like 2004. That's supposed to be their bedroom, and they have like a cute scene there, but are completely interrupted. And we also get visited by jealous Bette in this episode, because when Bette arrives at the set, she sees Tina like talking to Sam, the DP, and even Kit's like, ooh, Sam and Tina, like, they're flirting, and Bette just is not happy. We don't get too much more with them this episode. We do get that really Bette scene where she and Jodie are, can you even say hooking up? But yeah, Bette is just full on meltdown mode at the moment, and as we know, over the next few episodes, that meltdown mode just gets pushed into absolute high gear. And we also have Jodie having lunch with her ex. I think it was interesting how they did this, where the scene that they were cutting back and forth from was Jodie and her ex, and then Bette and Tina on the set. And I mean, in contrast, obviously it's showing like Jodie is having a good relationship with her ex and talking to her and stuff, but Bette is obviously crossing a major line with Tina and lying to Jodie. And it was just because most lesbian relationships, you at least are friendly with your ex, so it's just showing those two contrasts. But also that just I just, why did they not, it just frustrates me, because all the time I hated the whole they got back together through cheating. Everyone knows I love Bette and Tina, of course, but I really, really hated this thing where they dragged out the split with Jodie. It never made sense, especially not next episode, the episode after, where Bette's like, I don't want to tell her till after the pink ride. Like, Why? You know you're going to break up with her. You know you want to be with Tina. Just split up with her. And I hated also the way they would like use Angie. Like the way Bette says, oh, I need to speak to you about the preschool thing. And Tina's like, oh yeah, the preschool thing for Angie. And it's like, don't use your child as a pawn. And that just also, you know that if Jodie ever said anything like, oh, like you're spending a lot of time with Tina, or oh, you're seeing Tina, Bette would have been like, oh, it's all about Angie. So I didn't like that. But they are so cute in the scene where they're in the bedroom and they like jump up, and that made me think about when I was in high school with my girlfriend, and like if like my sister or something was coming in, like how fast you move. You like jump off the bed. But yeah, they're super cute and love the rest of season 5 and just can't wait for more of them. But please break up with Jodie. Do the right thing. Well, do the right thing after you've done the wrong thing. And that's pretty much it for this episode. So overall, probably my least favorite episode from season 5, or one of my least favorites. I haven't watched the next episode or most of the other episodes this season apart from Liquid Heat and the finale, so I'm not confident enough saying this is my least favorite one, but it's definitely kind of a fillery one, kind of an episode where it's like, okay, we need to use this episode to set up the rest of the season storylines going forward. And there wasn't too much, like if you miss this episode, you're not really missing much, because like the Alice and Tasha thing is the big thing next week. Bette and Tina only get a tiny little bit. And then even like Shane, Jenny, nothing happened that you'd be lost if you missed this episode this week. As I said at the beginning, guys, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can be notified every time I post a new video. And if you subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below, you'll be entered into a draw to win one of my merch shirts. And if you want to purchase one of the shirts, I do the OG cast and the Generation Q cast. There is going to be a Dana shirt and a Bette and Tina one coming soon. So if you want to purchase one of the cast ones, click the link in the description box down below. And also, don't forget to follow me on social media for even more L Word content. As I said at the beginning as well, I'm also going to be doing tomorrow kind of a New Year's predictions for the L Word and me and the channel. So make sure to tune in for that. And also, I will be going live on Friday, normal time, normal place, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 11 a.m. Pacific. It is New Year's Day, it is like a bank holiday, so hopefully you guys can join and we can chat about what is going to be going down in season 2. And make sure that you're caught up on all my advent calendar Christmas videos for the L Word, and make sure you've got all the season 2 news. Of course, thank you so much for watching, guys. You know I really appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow with the last video of 2020. So make sure that you stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye! Want to know everything we know about Generation Q Season 2? Click this video. And want to know all the casting news about Season 2? Carrie is revealed. Click this video.